Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today we've got a massive motley crew of riders with us. We've got Tim heading up here. Say hi, Tim.
Hi.
We've got Nate, also known as Noob Rider MTB. We've got Rick on a hired e-bike, making adjustments there frantically. We've got Ollie, and we've got Carl. Sorry, Carl.
It's all right.
You were the late arrival, Carl, weren't you? That's why I've not quite programmed it in yet, mate. And Mav also messing around with an e-bike. So yeah, today we're at Golfie, and what I wanted to do today, I've already done a couple of Golfie edits, so I don't want to keep repeating myself. Today I'm going to do the 10 reasons why Golfie is potentially the best place you can ride a mountain bike in the UK. So stay tuned for that. Oh my word! It's so dark in here. Oh shit! Oh! So, reason number one is quality of the trails. There's a very, very good reason why when the EWS or EWC or EWWF or whatever it's calling itself at the moment comes to the UK, these are the trails that they use. They have to be some of the best handcrafted trails in the UK, if not the best. The quality is absolutely astounding. There is so much intelligence that's gone into the design of these tracks. The use of natural feature is fantastic. They can be fast and flowy, they can be technical, punishing, but they are always great fun, and that's the reason why UK riders aspire to become a rider that's good enough to come up to the Golfie and to ride these trails. They are definitely, without doubt, world class. This is the new section of New York, which I've actually never ridden till today. Gotta say, it's probably more tech than the old one. They've definitely not tried to sanitize New York in any way. Some sort of routes pointing in the direction that doesn't exactly help you ride it with confidence. So number two in my reasons why Golfie is probably the best place to ride a bike will be the quantity of trails. There is 95 trails, as I was saying, 95 trails in what is Cabaston Forest, which is Golfie. And that's before you've even taken into consideration any of the other stuff that's within a 20-minute drive That would be Glentress, with the obvious trail centre riding there, as well as the fantastic off-piste tracks which we were sampling yesterday. And then you've got Thorney quite close by, and Yea Forest, which is close to Selkirk. And then of course there's Innerleithen, which has got some trail centre tracks. And yeah, Innerleithen also has some really nice off-piste trails, and it's also got the uplift and downhill tracks. So, but yeah, Golfie, what we fondly could now call Golfie because of its location near the golf course, 95 trails, all ranging from generally reds, blacks and oranges as an off-piste grading. Which leads me neatly onto point number 3, which is pardon me, concentrating here. Yeah, point number 3 is that there's always new trails popping up. So I think in the last few years alone, there's probably been 3 or 4 trails added to the network. So the builders are always busy crafting new magical numbers. You're never going to get bored. I've been riding Golfie for years, and you know, it's quite tempting to ride the trails that you know, and because of the technical nature of them, you know, there's always feel like you can have a go at riding a trail better than you've rode it previously. This one is one that I've not rode for a long time. So yeah, kind of that leads me fairly neatly on to point number 4, which is the maintenance. If by some absolute miracle, something that Scotland has really managed to sort out, particularly in this area, the trails are official trails, and they have the TVTA, which is the local trail association, which organises regular digs where riders like me and you can get involved, and we can come along, organise proper dig days with tools supplied, all the equipment, all the guidance you need to come and help keep the trails in tip-top condition, and they, you know, close the trails off when they need to, which is absolutely what you got to do. There's no question Golfie gets a hell of a lot of traffic. It's a very popular riding area, and yeah, you know, you get some trail deterioration, but generally speaking, you can really see where the effort goes into keeping these trails in tip-top condition for me and you to ride. So on to point number 5, which is ease of navigation. All the descents basically stem from just one climb. So you've got one fire road from the bottom, which takes you all the way to the top, and then most of those 95 trails that we've talked about are coming off the same side of the hill. So navigation here is super easy. Strava, Trail Forks will see you right. You'll be able to find all the entrances to the trails, plethora of videos online for these trails as well, these tracks. So it should be very, very easy for you to piece your day together. I will link my other beginner guide to Golfie edit and beginner guide to Golfie part 2, which gives you a perfect starting point for anyone who's never been before, including a bit of a squirrel catcher starter trail, so you can see if you're going to be okay to progress onto these trails. Which leads very neatly on to point number 6. Would be very, very easy to kind of put a really big, massive day together, and, you know, session a couple of trails lower down and put a really small day together. So it's very easy to kind of, like, you're not kind of on a big loop style mission where you're riding for hours, maybe biting off more than you can chew. You can do one climb and one long descent, you know, or you can just turn it into a massive day. Where are you going? So we should have a little bit more light now, hopefully. The next point would be point number 7, I think, is the all-weather suitability of these trails. You really do ride really well in pretty much any conditions, and in fact I think most would argue that they're probably absolutely at the best when you're riding them when they've had a bit of rain down. But the trail surface is quite tacky and grippy even in pretty wet conditions, so you can come here pretty much any time of year and you're guaranteed to have a great ride. There's not too much deterioration of the trail. Whoa!
That is good, that.
Suspension feels a lot better.
That steep little S-bend comes out of nowhere, doesn't it? It's just like...
So yeah, again, chatting about the weather. You know, if the weather does come in, you can kind of stay low, and there's kind of, you can just stay in the trees and you can avoid the rain and the wind, or you can go high out onto the moor and enjoy the tracks, enjoy the higher up tracks instead. So yeah, if the weather does come in when you're here, yeah, just enjoy the lower trails. Again, just adds into its all-weather winter suitability. Obviously vision is very challenging inside these trees. You alright, lads? Yeah. Whoa! Hey! Whoa! Woo! So these glasses are working perfectly in these conditions. You can probably see now as I'm coming out into the sun, they should start getting a bit darker. Should be able to see my eyes right now. It's a good test to see how quickly they go dark. But when you're riding places like this where you're out in the open and the sun's shining, and then you're back into the trees again, photochromic lens is a game changer. Not taking your glasses on and off, you're not wishing you brought the different lens. They do actually come with another lens. I got a gold one with this, which I have worn when I've been on a ride like Heartbreak Ridge, where you're pretty much on the moors like the whole time, or sorry, on the mountains the whole time, and you're outside the trees. The offers on these are constantly changing, but the value is just fantastic. So I think they've had free delivery, they've had 20% off, they've had 10% off, but you definitely won't regret a pair. They're superb. So the next on my list of reasons why the Golfie is the best place to ride a mountain bike is trail progression. There is none of these tracks are what I would call easy. They're all, you know, off-piste classification tracks, so there's a level of difficulty to all of them, which is obviously part of the reward. but there is definite progression to be had on these trails, and the grading is pretty unique to the Golfie in that there are some red trails here, but when you get onto the blacks, which is a majority of the tracks in the Golfie, there's an individual grading number applied to the trails. So you've got black 2s, black 3s and black 4s. So you can start on black 2s and then you can move up to black 3s and onto black 4s, and then you're onto orange graded trails, being the most difficult. Can't honestly say I've rode one of those here yet. Black 4s are plenty scary enough for me. Such a good trail, isn't it, that?
Yeah, mega.
Boom! Oh shit! So, on to point number 9. Nearly done. So, I think another thing that I love about this place, don't get me wrong, I've not done it today, but all I need to do to get that buzz that you get sometimes from sort of scaring yourself on a mountain bike is pick a track that I've never ridden before, because they all demand respect and should all be taken quite seriously as tracks. So you kind of just pick one that you've not ridden, send yourself down it, and I imagine you'll be getting the same kind of buzz that Bernard Kerr gets from river gapping over, you know, at the hard line, or, you know, Remy Metalia dropping into one of those really crazy features in Canada. I can get the same buzz, that kind of like fear buzz. Not quite sure whether you can do it or not. I can get that same buzz from dropping into one of these trails at Golfie, particularly one that I've never ridden before, or one that I did ride and find particularly hard on the day that I rode it. Which again, testament to the quality of the tracks and just the variety that's on offer here. It's all tech, it's all hard, it's all nadgery, but it's all awesome. Such a good place. Yeah, so as I was saying before, to get that kind of thrill that you get from mountain biking that we kind of chase and kind of fear, and you know, we have a love-hate relationship with it, don't we? We always kind of enjoy on reflection scaring ourselves, but you know, the scaring ourselves bit's quite hard, isn't it? So you can pick another track like this one, Underdog, at the Golfie, and because it's a completely new track, and I know it's quite a tough one. It's already got a reputation, as do most tracks at the Golfie. I am pretty scared. It's not a fast run. Hard to see how anyone could ride this fast really, but there's plenty out there that will be, of course. Oh, Jesus, it's pretty full on. Got this, John. You've got this. Off the pedals. Oh. So that was I think the problem there was setting off from where I set off. Just lost the pedal going into that first route compression, but you know, I kind of rode it. Ooh. That's it. Right, you've got this. Oh, Jesus. This is so tight. Oh my God. It's just never going to come across on the camera just how steep that bit was. Fortunately, brake's doing an absolutely fantastic job of scrubbing all the speed there and the grip of the tyres, and the trail's quite grippy as well, fortunately, as I was really able to control my speed down it, even though it just didn't look possible. This is the corner I've seen. I don't like it. Well done, Pidge. Pidge rode this. Pushed back up, rode it. Just don't feel like I've got it today at all. Again, the fatigue is high now. Seat's worked its way up. Nice. Yeah, so going back to the points I was making before, you know, you've got Bernard Kerr sending huge river gaps. It's hardline. G. Atherton practically killing himself every other day of the week once he's recovered from his injuries, to get that kind of same buzz that I can get by dropping into this trail. Now, by no means have I beasted this. It's definitely bettered me, but you know, hey, it's the first run. The trail's not going anywhere. I can come back, I can have another pop at it. Hopefully next time I'll ride it better. I'll piece a few more of the bits together. But yeah, happy enough with that as a first run. And yeah, did what I wanted to do, which was scare the shit out of myself.
And so to wrap this edit up, point number 10 is community. There really is an outstanding sense of community across the whole of this area. Inner Leith and Peebles, it not only welcomes mountain bikers, but it celebrates mountain bikers. The cafes, shops, pubs, everything, they're all happy to see you. And there's just a real camaraderie to the entire place. It really does feel like those communities that you've maybe read about in Canada. All the trail building, the TVTA all coming together, local riding groups. It really just does feel like it's a proper mountain biking community that comes together and celebrates the sport that they love so much together. So, and it's unlike, I have experienced it up in Aberdeenshire, in all honesty, but other than those two areas, I've never really experienced it like I experienced it in Golfie. So that's reason number 10. I hope you've enjoyed this edit. So if you're wanting to start riding off piste tracks and you're wanting to come to Golfie, a really good starting point would be our beginner off-piste edit, which was filmed in Glentress. I think the trails that we chose there are a really good kind of like starting point for off-piste riding for someone who's pretty competent on a mountain bike. And then if you jump onto our beginner guide to Golfie, that's got a bit of a squirrel catcher to start with, and the trails gradually get harder as the day goes on. And then we've got our Golfie for Beginners Part 2, where again we start off and with a good warm-up track, and then we kind of build the level of difficulty on those trails. So go and check those out. Love the place, it's just amazing. I've had such a good time here, and I'll catch you in the next edit.